On air is Disposition, this is Gagarin, let's go. The nuclear topic can't be avoided now, of course. A dirty atomic bomb is already polluting, at least the intellect of Ukrainian politicians. In general, Kiev's strategy is quite simple. Launch the topic into wide circulation, then reluctantly deny it. Later, through several sources, report that an independent dirty charge can be created in a few weeks. And then the snowball can't be stopped. The goal is achieved, society in Europe is stirred up. NATO elites gather again and ponder how to calm their belligerent partner, what conventional weapons to give them next. And it all works. Once, a similar scheme paved the way for alliance tanks and planes into Ukraine. On the other hand, as many analysts claim, Kiev is also counting on Russia. What if Moscow decides to launch a preemptive nuclear strike? This is a desirable prospect for Bankova, Brussels, and especially Washington. To stay in power thanks to the war, remain on military financial flows, and destroy the enemy with the whole planet. By the way, the nuclear scenario is so attractive for Kiev and arch-democratic Europe that they try to involve Belarus. It's easy to notice how even certain resources of fugitives are working on the set agenda. They claim that Moscow is allegedly planning provocations at our nuclear power plant. We will have to accuse the West and Ukraine of terrorism. And then Minsk is somehow obliged to get involved in the war, using toxic nuclear weapons. Charges. The authors of this scenario have certainly taken a big step in terms of intellectual degradation. We dream of joining the slaughter and rushing suicidally at NATO. Probably we'll ride on fortified areas that are actively being built in the country now. By the way, our defensive network, like our overall focus on defense, is carefully ignored in the West. They protect their citizens from the truth and portray Belarusians solely as a potential aggressor. Fortunately, this scheme, like other similar ones, has long been understood in Belarus.
We show them that we're not going to attack them. We are building a defense system here. We don't need to attack them. What war against NATO troops? We don't need it. They expect it, they provoke us to respond somehow. Take the infiltration of sabotage groups through the Ukrainian border, through Belarus. Why do they do this? We don't attack, we do nothing. They provoke us to respond. That's why they initiate this, to provoke us into retaliatory actions. They are interested in starting this war. Foolish, absolutely foolish people. I've always said, and I say, we don't need someone else's, we won't give up ours. We are not going to fight them. We need them to understand that there will be no threat to them from here. We are satisfied with everything, but if they make a move, we will respond. That's why we are here. We will respond very seriously.
And our response will be defensive, which is also well known in the West, monitoring the preparation algorithms of the Belarusian army. However, defensive doesn't mean the bite will be non-lethal for intimidation, and on foreign territory, in case of an attack on us, perhaps only a soldier's or officer's foot won't step. There are enough weapons, missiles, drones, shells, but even more emphasis in the troops is placed on professionalism. As the special military operation showed, effectiveness and survivability are primarily derived from experience. And for experience, we go to the primary source, our Russian colleagues. Fortunately, NATO knows this too.
All the advanced methods used today in the Russian armed forces were taught to our servicemen. We saw how the practical experience of the special military operation is implemented in practice, in troop training. Today we begin the next stage. We are sending our servicemen from military units for training as individual soldiers so they can adopt this methodology and further implement it in the training of their units.
And finally, to add to the Belarusian aggressiveness, these days the armed forces are actively participating in the Give the Forest a New Life campaign. Soldiers, knowing themselves, are energetically working with seedlings across the region. In the Republic, while such news would now cause outrage among our neighbors, how can the army and reforestation be related? Well, that's how.